Hi everybody, I'm Adam, manager of the design team at PremiumShield, and today I'm going to give you an introductory video on the basics of using our software. First, we log in with our username and password. Then, when you log in, it loads your last search results. And I search for the BMW 4 Series. In our North American library, we have a few options here, and the top two would be your most complete libraries. The other ones have region-specific models that you won't find in the other two. And the International Library covers most of Europe and offers left-hand, right-hand drive options. North America will be all left-hand drive options. And I will just change my search results here. When I'm using it, I often just do the most recent year if I know I'm working on a current model. But you could go back to 2021. I'll go down to Porsche, because I know we have a lot of options for Porsche. And you can see how the year shows the model start and that it's current. And if you went back a little further, you might see that there'd be an end year in here for some of them, and some of them are still current. And it loads your results as soon as you make a choice in this column, and you can narrow it down further, or you could scroll down to what you're looking for. I'll go to the Cayenne Coupe. And right now, you can see everything on this one screen, so there's no need to narrow down your search even further. And we've got a lot of options here, and they can be pretty similar. Here we have the e-hybrid. Here's the e-hybrid with sport design front fascia. And that is a little bit different than just small changes in the bumpers usually. And if you choose that drop down, you see that there is a lot of different options. So there might be a little bit clearer to choose the correct option this way, because here you see with sport design front fascia, and here is with sport design package, and it's different options that are offered by Porsche. So you have to be careful to choose the correct one. The option here, the second option with sport design front fascia, actually has the base model rear bumper, and the sport design package has a different front and rear bumper. So it's very, very subtle, the differences. I'll just choose one here, and you can see our preview file or preview photo that shows what the bumper looks like. And because we didn't have a photo of this vehicle, we ended up using just a screenshot of our entire file. All right, I'm just going to download the S with Sport Design by using the little download arrow icon. And now there's a lot of parts here that you'll have to look through to choose what you want, but our files are always set up very much like this one. And you'll have all of the partial hood options first, and we have 24-inch option, 18-inch option, and it's a good idea to use a mouse to navigate the files. You can put this cursor in an area, use the scroll wheel on the mouse just to zoom right in. It centers it automatically where the cursor is located. So you can see the no wrap and wrap options. And you're zoomed in close enough, you can see this option on the side that we have an option for the mirror with side cameras, which is the same as the piece in here that does not have the cutout for the camera, which is right there. So it does take a little practice to figure out how to get all of the options you want. We like to have the bumper options next to our partial hood options. And if you zoom in, you can see what options we have for each bumper. The first one here has sensors. The next one does not have sensors. And then that was for a 30-inch cut. And down here, it's the same two options, but for a 24-inch cut. And the lower bumper that you will need for both of them set up in the middle. And then next we have our full hood and full fender options. Below that, you'll find our rocker panels, headlights. We have the interior trim over here, and there are some labels on those parts. if you zoom in, because there's different options for those also. So there's labels on every part. You can zoom in to get a good look at them. And sometimes when there are parts all mixed together like this, it's hard to tell where they belong on the vehicle. So we have this for printing area, which you could actually print out, and they are set up similarly to the way they would lay out on the vehicle. And the last page here is the interior options. And you can see we have the center console and some door panels and some dash panel options. So this vehicle, it looks like we have full coverage, but I do not see tail lights. I'm not sure what the reason is for that. But if you ever come across parts that you need missing from a file, then you could contact us and let us know. You could do that in the forums, or you could call our number. And now you can see I'm making boxes around parts to select different areas. You could select multiple things at once. But when you're going to cut parts, let's say we're going to do a partial hood kit and bumper, then we zoom in on what we want here. We'll do a 24-inch wrapped hood kit. I make a box around that. You have to get everything entirely in the box. If you miss some of it, then it won't select it all. But you can make the box a lot bigger as long as everything is right in there without any extra parts. Then it'll select just that kit. And now we go to our cut button, which just brings us to a preview page. From here, you don't want to do anything. It is set up to cut at the bottom edge of your film, and the green box here displays the limits of your plotter. I have a 64-inch plotter, and you can see at the top of the screen, it says media width, but that is actually the width that the plotter can handle. And it gives the dimensions of our parts that we're cutting. So you want to make sure that your plotter has measured at least 23.13 inches to get everything cut without no corners getting cut off or not getting cut. Now from this point, we just want to send it to the plotter, and you can do that with the scissors at the end of the cut toolbox or the cut now button. Either one sends it to the plotter, but I don't have a plotter hooked up now, so I will close. This will just bring us back out of the cut preview screen. And next, I would want to go get my bumper kit, so I can make a box around that. With sensors, the 30-inch cut, switch my rolls of film, hit that cut button to bring us to the cut preview. And the same thing, we don't want to do anything else here. If you wanted to add additional pieces, like the headlights, you would do that in the main working area with where all the parts are displayed. So right here, you hit cut. But I'm going to go back, hit close, and I'll show you how to try to include other parts that are smaller with one of these bigger things that we're cutting. And it looks like these headlights would be too big to fit in any of this open space. And to grab parts and move them, you can make a box around them and then put your cursor over the center square there, and you can move it. If you want to rotate parts, you want to make sure that you don't have any text selected. I will just delete that. So you can click on the outline or make a box around a part to select it. And to rotate, that arrow appears, but only when there's no text selected. So with that arrow, turns into a little hand, the cursor, and I can grab and twist. And then you could attempt to put that in empty spaces if it was smaller. But I believe if I select that with the bumper, then it's going to be over 30 inches. That makes it 32. So I would not be able to do a 30-inch cut anymore. There are other parts that you could fit the headlights with, especially when you're cutting rear quarters. You can see the headlight would fit in with this kit easily if you're trying to save some film. There is no automatic nesting option at this time. So you have to do it all manually, and you have to be careful not to overlap edges because the software will not tell you when parts are overlapping. You have to take a look at it and see for yourself. So we'd want this lower bumper also. It is possible that we could get our headlights cut with the lower bumper. I can use my arrow key to slide that other piece up a little further. We usually want to stay about 1/4 inch away, and these squares are 1 inch. It's a 1 inch grid background. And you can see there's a little more empty space up there. Maybe if I put this down low, I'd be able to put the headlight further up into that area. Sometimes I like to use the rotate 90 option. So I'll just try to flip that around facing out. And if I flip this part so that curve is facing up toward the light, and I'll use the rotate 90, just hit it twice. Now we've got that headlight in there. And if I make a box around all of the parts, showing 24.42. So we cannot get that on 23 inch or onto a 24 inch. It would be a little bit too tight. We try to nest everything optimally for cutting, and sometimes there's extra room, like with the full hood, some larger pieces. And we separate parts enough so you can only choose the options that you'd like. So you can benefit a little bit by trying to fit some parts with others. You can see that this kit over here, the door cups are very small. If you wanted to put those in with the bumper as an add-on, that would be very simple. I'll just select all of those parts together and make sure I have none of that text selected and hit rotate 90. And then I can cut my bumper with those extra pieces. And it's just using some of that scrap material. When you look at these 4 printing pages here, you can actually select an entire page with the outline, the box there, and click on Print PDF. And then you get an 8.5 by 11 sheet with all of the parts that you had selected. And you could do that for each page individually or one at a time. Unfortunately, you can't do all of them together. That would try to put them all on one page. So one at a time, you can do the print PDF, and then you'll have a representation you could take with you as a reference when you're installing to see where parts go. And the last thing I would like to show you is if you want to cut parts from 2 different vehicles at the same time, you have to use the import function. So it leaves this current file open and allows you to bring in a different one. Let's say I'm going to cut an Audi Q5, and I will hit download. And maybe I just need the headlights from the Q5. When I zoom back out with the scroll wheel on the mouse, you can see the original file I had opened there. And when you import, I'll click that again, and the download again, it gives you a little bracket. That bracket is the top corner of the file that you're going to place. So I could do the same thing over here, and it zooms in on that file I just pasted. But when I zoom out, you can see all of the parts there. Now, if I want to grab those headlights and bring them up to the Porsche file, now those headlights are small enough to fit in some of these openings of the Porsche bumper. And at least one of them is. I might be able to make enough space in between to place it at the top. And I'll use the rotate 90 because it's a little bit faster. Click the rotate 90 twice so those angles align better. Oops, I missed clicking on my little arrow there. It's good to wait till the cursor changes to a hand, and you can rotate slightly and get it a little bit closer. So moving that down, you can see the parts overlapped and it will not tell you. So you have to pay attention to that. And I rotate a little, to make sure all of my edges are free. And now, yes, that will fit on a 30-inch roll still, 28.56. It's good to try to keep it under 29, but some plotters can cut closer to the edges than others. And we might give you some tips on that in the near future. All right, that's all I want to show you today. Good luck with the software.